Hello, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video, and welcome back to the horror bar. So today's video I want to show my diorama that I made. I made this probably about 3 weeks ago now. I did show it briefly when I did a room tour of everything all set up in my horror bar now. And I did say I was going to do a full video on it. It's not going to be a long video because there's not much to talk about this diorama. This diorama came about because I already had a diorama made for Captain Blake from The Fog, but that diorama was a bit too big for my shelf, and also the scaling wasn't perfect. Like with the figure being so tall, the diorama is a bit small than it should have been. It should have been a lot taller. I will put pictures up of the pictures. Well, I'll put pictures up of the actual older version diorama that I made for this one. I did make it a few years ago. I did do a full video on that, so the full video is on the YouTube channel if you want to check that out. That diorama was good at the time. Like I said, it was a few years ago when I made that. I think it was about 3 years old. So my skills obviously improved more, but like I said, the diorama was a bit too big. This one is a lot smaller. It takes up less space. Plus, it makes sense to do like sort of like a dock sort of theme, because obviously he comes off the boat. Obviously, the first thing you'd step on is a dock. So I did. Also, I've got the same stuff that I used in my last diorama, which is like this like fluffy material stuff, which is used to make the fog effect. So I could have it displayed like this, where he's just standing there on the dock base. I could have it where the fog is actually behind him. That's how I usually display it, like that. The only problem with displaying it like that, you sort of lose some of that detail what's in this diorama. So when we're doing a video now, you'll be able to see all this detail, what I've put in it. It's a very simple diorama. It didn't take me long. It took me a couple of days to make it, but it does work for this figure, I think. So we'll bring the actual docking a bit closer, the diorama. So we'll take the figure off. This plaque was just off the old one. It just makes sense just to put it just in front of it. I thought it looked pretty good just in front. So I'll just bring this forward and we'll bring the camera down a bit more so you can actually see some of that detail. Right, so basically all this is made with a foam like I always talk about. That's the stuff that I mainly use. I did put some of the real stones in because in my last diorama I used some real stones for the American Wolf in London. I had loads left over. I thought I'd use it. I did want to actually do use a resin and have like the water effects around it. That would have looked really smart. I think that would have looked really different, obviously, from any of the other dioramas, because I've never used resin. But I decided not to go down that path because I think they're pretty expensive just for a small tub of resin. It's pretty pricey. I wouldn't have needed a lot anyway, but I've never used it before. I was a bit wary of trying to do it on something what's I've just made, basically. So I'd rather, if I'm going to ever use resin, I'd probably use it on some like to test out, basically, see if I could actually use it and how it comes out and everything, because I don't think it's just as simple as mixing it and then pouring it. I think you've got to get all the bubbles and stuff out. So again, if I used resin for this, it would have looked a hell of a lot better, but I didn't. I just used the stones, so it just has the effect that it's already out of water, this part of the dock. And like I said, it's all made with foam, and obviously I went in there to make it all that detail, to make it look like real wood and real wooden poles, posts, whatever you want to call them. And then this is actual real rope that I've wrapped around it and glued it in place. But there's just lots of little detail in the actual poles itself. I think these came out looking really, really good. And yeah, they're like different sizes, so they're not all the same size. So you can see this one's taller, that one's a bit smaller than that one. This one's slightly up on an angle. So yeah, I tried to make them look all different as possible. The bottom of the base, it's just a plain base from the foam stuff again. Just painted black around the edges. Added a little Easter egg. This was from the actual other diorama of the piece of driftwood, what the little boy finds on the beach. So I've just stuck it under there. So like a little bit of an Easter egg. So you can see on the back, there's nothing going on the back. You can see where it's very rough because I've not actually sanded it down or anything like that, but you can see. I've painted all the back of here anyway, but I just don't done the actual bottom of the base because you're never going to be able to see it. Now, using actual this sort of stuff, like it's like pillowcasing stuff, it does actually stick to this, so it's very difficult. So when you actually take it all away, you have to get all the little bits off it as well. But it's not really a big issue because I'm going to, like I say, I'm mainly going to be displaying with the actual fog itself. But yeah, I think some of the detail came out looking really, really nice. You could even use this diorama for, say, if I had a Jason figure, but I don't have a Jason figure. But if you had a Jason figure, this diorama would be actual perfect for the Jason character as well. I was thinking about adding maybe a light feature as well, but then I decided not to because it's looking more like the actual sort of dock for Friday the 13th. There's some statues out there of the actual dock where he stood on the dock and the light behind him. I think, what is it called? Neca have done it as well. So that's the reason I didn't want to do it that way. But I could add it later on down the line. Do leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. If I should add like a post with a light coming down. But again, it'd be too much looking like more like a Jason diorama because that's what it reminds me of all the time if I have a light to it. Like I said, you could use it as a Jason diorama, but I don't have any Jason figures because I'm not the biggest fan of Jason. His movies are okay, and the character looks awesome, but I've just felt the need to actually pick any of the figures up. So yeah, that is my diorama for the fog, and it takes up hardly no space at all on the shelf, which is perfect. That's how I wanted it, to take up less space on the shelf. I'll just show you how it looks with the actual fog. So we'll just bring that forward. So basically what I do, I just put it anywhere. It doesn't really sort of matter where it goes, just sort of wrapped round this side. I think what I should do as well, I should look for some lights, put some lights in the actual fog as well and have that sort of glowing effects like in the movie. I think that'll look really, really good. I think it's like a bluish light. You can see what's sort of reflecting in the fog. So you can see how quickly that is. Just set it up like that. Yeah, so this is how I'm going to be mainly displaying it. So it is a shame because obviously it's taking away all that detail that I've put in there. You're not going to be able to see it, but I know it's there anyway, and obviously I don't have to display it like this all the time. I can change it up anytime I want. But yeah, for now, this is how I'm going to be displaying it. So this is my diorama for Captain Blake, the fog. So tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below. Tell me if you think it's better than the old one. I think it's a lot better than the old one. For one, it looks more detailed, even though there's not much going on with it. And it's a lot smaller as well. And it just looks sort of like a museum sort of piece to me. Like it's pretty standard. There's nothing flashy about it, but it just looks effective. I'm trying to do that with a lot of stuff. I've just recently painted a Ghostbusters car toy, which was my son's toy. I didn't play with it anymore. I want to try repainting it and everything, and I've done that. That'll be another video coming up, and the way I've got that on like a display, it's actually behind here. You probably caught it on the camera just there. I've made it look like a display place, like a museum sort of piece, the way I've done the base and everything. But yeah, so again, hopefully you've liked this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.